Stuber was better.
I disagree. There you go. There's the intro.
All right. So
this is Crawl.
Yeah.
We have different thoughts about it.
We do.
I feel like it's not going to be that different so much. It's just your tolerance for stupidity is just dramatically different.
Just in case. Well, here's the thing. I feel like I like horror movies more than you do.
See, I
just
like,
as an overall thing.
See, I never would consider this a horror movie, though. To be fair,
Are you kidding me?
or at least
This is 100% a horror movie.
I consider it more of a creature feature, which I guess is like a subgenre in horror. But
I guess, but yeah, no, it's absolutely a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's directed by a horror director.
Okay.
Like, this dude, I'm pretty sure he directed High Tension, which was huge impact in the horror realm. Was a big moment in high school for me. Yeah, Alexandre Aja. Yes, High Tension. I am correct.
Okay.
Also directed The Hills Have Eyes, the remake. These are things he's produced. He directed Horns, which I was a big fan of.
Yeah, I know you and I both liked Horns.
Yeah, Horns is an interesting, fun time.
Yeah.
And it's also dumb, which I like in that context, especially. It's he directed Mirrors.
Never saw Mirrors.
Yeah, he's a French director, so he definitely has a little bit of that flair to some of his movie making stuff if you pay attention. Do I have a cut on my forehead? Or what is that? That's terrible. Okay, never mind. So yeah, I've liked most of the guy's stuff that I've seen in the past. I think the issue with here was just the script. It's very well directed. It's just a terrible script.
Yeah.
It's a terrible script.
I'm like, here's the thing. I'm probably not going to disagree with any critiques you have. It just didn't bother me as much as it bothered you.
I think it's weird because I feel like I didn't expect anything out of this movie and I still got less. And I feel like you expected just nothing out of this movie and you got what you expect. I think you expected a different thing. I don't know.
I'm just gonna.
It all comes down to expectations.
I'm like, yeah, I can see that. Like, I'm gonna just quote Bob Chipman when he just like, I pay for giant alligators. I got giant alligators.
Yeah, they're just alligators.
Yeah, but like I said, one giant bunch of alligators eat some people. Have some ridiculous shit happen.
Yeah,
like, I kind of put this on the same level as I can do with like Deep Blue Sea, which is a movie I love, but I recognize the stupidest
Deep Blue
shit.
Sea was way better. Way better.
I haven't watched it.
That was dumb enough to be funny. This one was just dumb.
And I feel like it's someone who's like a little self-aware how dumb it is. Personally,
the gas station robbery scene definitely lends itself to that, but that's the only scene that lends itself to that. The rest of the movie is played pretty much entirely straight.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like has to be jokey for it to be self-aware.
It's sort of, but like the characters are inconsistently stupid. I don't like that.
Fair enough.
I don't like it when a character is very careful and smart about a certain thing, and then they do another thing, and it's the dumbest thing. Like, God. Or I guess spoiler territory, whatever. I don't give a shit. The part where she drops her phone on the way to crawling to the actual, like, safety and everything, and then goes back to get her phone while the one alligator is hanging out by the steps.
Yeah.
And then instead of going back to safety and using her phone,
Yeah.
she sits around the corner from the alligator and proceeds to try to call 911.
Yeah.
Are you gonna whisper next to the alligator? Why don't you just get back to where you're fucking safe and then make the call? Take literally 1 minute to get back to not complete deathly danger. And then she hears another one growl behind her and turns around and what was it, lightning strikes? Which apparently is perfectly positioned. I don't know where the lightning came from. Where was the opening that the lightning shone onto that alligator? But literally right next to her, an alligator just like, ah! And she's like, ah! And her leg gets chomped, and she gets flung around a bit, and then she crawls away and escapes.
I was laughing my ass off around that time.
See, here's the thing. The parts where you laughed, I was probably like...
Yeah, which, like, I get why you would do that.
Honestly,
like,
I really wish we'd seen this together. Because I think it would have been one of those that we had fun together. But,
I can see that. Those are valid issues. Again, I'm probably not gonna disagree with what you say is stupid.
One more big thing. One more big thing.
Okay.
Big fucking thing.
Okay.
Injuries don't fucking matter, except when they do.
No, that bothered me. I will give you that.
Bothers the shit out of me. One of the first things that, it was shocking to me, because she's the main character, and you're like, how's she gonna get away with, like, how's she gonna escape with all this stuff, when an alligator just fucking chomped on one of her legs, and she looks at the wound later. It's not a light wound. It goes into the muscle. There's like gashes this fucking wide, and you can see into her leg and shit.
But
and
she's fine.
She wraps it up and is apparently fine to do all of her swimming unimpeded. None of the blood that she leaks into the water, like, from this huge gaping wound, from this huge gaping wound in her leg, attracts the alligators. No, she's just got a not splash. And, also, if you got a not splash, why don't you go underwater when you're swimming? Why don't you just, swim underwater instead of near the surface? If you're a professional swimmer who's been doing this since you're a fucking kid, why don't you do basic swimmer shit? Like, it's mind-boggling. And, like, the fact that her dad has a broken leg to the point where the bone is just out. It's out. And then he gets the gusto together, he sets his own fucking leg, because he's a man, and, through the rest of the movie, basically he just has a limp. He has a limp. He's mainly okay, he has a limp. He's not dragging his leg along in pure agony and trying not to put any weight on it. He's limping, and mostly using his other leg for balance. And putting the weight on, and when he leans on stuff for support, he goes like, this hurts, and continues to just sort of walk on it. It doesn't fucking work, man. It doesn't work.
I hear you, and I don't disagree, but I think my brain it's one of the movies I just totally checked out early on. Alright, whatever, it's just fucked up logic. I'm just gonna choose to go with it.
Okay, look, I wasn't even checked in. I never checked in. I didn't check out because I never checked in. And even then, as I'm sitting through this movie, I was like...
See, I was mostly doing that last one.
I laughed at every jump scare.
I
counted something like 10 jump scares through this movie.
Yeah.
And doing jump scares with giant fucking alligators is hilariously stupid.
It really is.
Because, especially the first one, because the first alligator appearance is she's almost at the stairs, and it explodes out of the stairs at her. Like, it's not even a kind of... like, oh, this big scary... It fucking bursts out of the fucking stairs like the Kool-Aid Man. It's just, oh yeah! I'm numb! Like, just...
Jabberjaw.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know, man, but I was having a good time.
And the gators were super inconsistent. Like, there are some points where they're super fast. They're always swimming just close enough to go, like, near her legs, but not on them, except for the first one where she doesn't see it because she didn't go to safety before using her fucking phone.
But Muha, she's the apex predator.
Apex predator, bitch. Just, oh, so stupid. Such a weird, stupid shoehorning of that phrase into the movie. My favorite part of the movie was the gas station robbers.
Yeah, that was pretty
Because the people who were looting it, and they're like, hey, let's steal the ATM and load it into our boat. Okay, So aside from the fact that those ATMs are seriously like 500 pounds,
Yeah.
there's no way two people who were built like that could have carried that easily out of that place and lifted it this high and loaded it onto a boat. It's just, I don't know, things like that bother me. But then you've got this dude and his girlfriend outside by this boat, and his dipshit little brother is inside, literally grabbing like
Everything.
boner
fine,
pills
yeah.
and candy and like one of the hot dogs out of the little rollers. Is like, yeah, hot dog. And like, he's looting sunglasses. Like, he's clearly just being a dipshit. And that part was funny.
Yeah.
And you know, all three of those people immediately die.
Yeah.
And they're literally there to die.
Yeah.
They're there to provide a momentary glimpse of hope for the main character and then just die.
Oh yeah,
And-
I just like the part where it's like the guy's like, I think there's someone at a house. I'm gonna go over there and take a look. In the background, just a girl getting eaten by the alligator.
Yeah, and she's like, ah, because it's a hurricane, nobody can hear them. And that was also contradictory to the logic of it, because they're like, if there's no splashing, they don't hunt. She was sitting in the boat.
Yeah. Well,
Then an
he was
alligator just goes,
splashing me.
hello. and it's oh man. And then they fucking die. They just all die. And I wish they died more terribly.
Yeah, like I think if I had put
but
anything, I'd like put the shallow.
They had
The shallow had a shark on fire at one point. It was
oh, that's
great.
awesome though.
It was great.
See, I feel like that would be fun.
Go watch the shallow. You'd like that one.
Sure,
If you
okay.
hated this one, you'd like the shallow.
Okay. The thing is, if you're going to be a stupid movie, you need to embrace the stupidity. You can't play it completely straight.
I can get that.
I feel like it was somewhat self-aware, but not self-aware enough to make it entertaining. If this was a script that would be able to be turned into an actual scary movie, which I feel like it could have been, because the actors had it.
Yeah.
The actors
The actors are
delivered.
good.
They
The
did a
actors are
really
good.
good job with what they had, even though the few moments of closeness and character development that they had were really just shoehorned into the movie. It's okay.
I thought it worked okay, personally. But it's not great drama-based or imagination, but like for what we had, I thought it worked okay for me at least.
It was, but that's my point. It's okay. It's just like, all right, this is.
Like, man, like I don't want to say this movie's like great or anything like that, but I had a good time with it.
It's a stupid time. It's a stupid time.
And
If you're going in
sometimes that's
expecting
okay.
a stupid movie, then go for it. I know sometimes it's okay, man.
Yeah.
I love the Evil Dead trilogy. The first one is a classic. The second one's hilarious. The third one's just stupid fun.
Yeah.
And you can make us like Horns. Horns is hilarious. I loved Horns. I had a good time watching it. The serious parts landed for me, and it was well directed. It was well acted. Like, it was just a better script. And I feel like this movie was just more uneven. It didn't really accomplish. I don't really know what it set out to do, and the things that I feel like it set out to do, it didn't really get away with.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from. Like, there's nothing you're saying that's directly wrong, just because I guess it boils down to what
It's opinion.
what you're willing to tolerate, what you're not, and
Yeah.
like this one just crossed boundaries that you just were not willing to put up with, which I understand.
I was very happy to see that one cop torn to pieces by like 5 alligators. I was like, that's some good
like
effects.
for me,
that was
like
cool.
there were some fun kills. There were some giant gators that like threw people around and shit. That's kind of what I was there to see, and that's what I got. So
Okay,
like from that
well,
perspective, I got.
What was with that moment where that one cop gets dragged into the basement by the alligator, and he's standing there going like, "Ow, ow!" and there's this giant gator who, you know, has been flinging people around, has grabbed other people and slammed them into windows somehow,
Yeah.
and this dude's just standing there going like, "Ow, it's biting me!" And
I like how she just comes over. And
yeah,
like,
she comes right over to him and is like, "Oh no!" And then he dies, and she's like, "I guess not," and just walks away. Like, what the fuck is happening?
That part let me laugh pretty hard because, like, I guess she's there for moral support.
She's like-
and she get horrifically made.
You know that
by
little
the-
comic where like there's a hand going under the waves, and so another hand reaches out and just high fives it and it sings.
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt.
It's just, oh man, there was
That's
so
kind of
many.
what it felt like, and I guess this one, like, it worked okay for me because I was like, this is just B-movie schlock.
I felt like you were supposed to care about something that was going on. I felt like you were
yeah,
supposed to
but-
care about the characters. And I definitely know that the movie is fucking with you because on several occasions it uses the dog for tension.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that little puppy's gonna get eaten. You're gonna watch the little puppy dog get eaten.
I'm not gonna lie, I was in there like, I would rather watch both of you die by slow, like, mutilation of toothpicks and watch that dog die.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't kill that fucking dog.
And of course, like, okay, Barry Pepper, bless him. Barry Pepper does a great job in this. It's you know, I will say there was definitely a point in the movie where I was like, you know what? If anything, watching Barry Pepper beat a gator to death with a brick and a shovel is worth the price of admission alone.
Yeah.
I really wish we'd gotten more of that.
Yeah.
But the fact that you have the characters dumb enough to... You have a flashlight. You have a fucking powerful flashlight. Why are you lighting a flare inside the house and then holding it over the open passage of water like nothing's gonna happen? It's not like we're surrounded by shit tons of man-eating gators. Just, you know, here's my arm, nothing's gonna happen, and it happens, and you're like, well, that's unsurprising. I expected every fucking jump moment in this movie, man.
I mean, it's not a hard to predict movie.
I know! I don't know. Here's the thing about it for me. I wouldn't watch it again.
Fair enough.
If it's going to be a movie, like, I will watch Deep Blue Sea over and over and over again.
You ate my bird.
Yeah, right? Hey, it's Batcat.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Who is that?
It's Andrew.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah, he works here.
I haven't seen him in years. Don't think he sees this.
He might. But anyway.
Choosing to ignore me.
No, he's getting stuff out of his car. I'm saying if we keep trying. But anyway, yeah, I just, for a fun horror shitty movie to work like this, like, I need to know that I can rewatch it and be entertained again, and I just won't have that with this movie.
Yeah,
so.
That's, again, like, I totally get where you're coming from.
I got a solid 4.
See, I would give him more like a 6 for me.
Yeah, no. Is he gonna look at us?
No, I don't think so.
No, he's not.
No.
Wait, he turned around. Hey, no, he's turned again. All right. But yeah, that's just...
I don't think he liked me towards the end.
Whatever. It's that place got weird.
It was a long time ago.
But yeah, that's my take on this movie. I just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, fair enough. And like, I think for me, it's more like I just want to see some alligators do some shit, and they did. And like, I like the characters well enough, just by like better or poorly written as they were.
I didn't.
Like again, I like the dog. I thought the dog was good. I thought the acting was good.
How do you not like the dog?
Dogs could be dicks.
It wasn't a douchey dog. It was a little cute dog that really loved its owners.
It was a gorgeous dog.
Exactly.
He was happy and helpful.
By default. It's like dangling a baby in front of a shark and being like, oh, you don't care about the baby, huh? It's like, which, you know, feast 3. But, I
mean, it's like Boomer from Independence Day, I guess. It's the same category.
Man.
Except that dog, I guess that dog outruns alligators compared to like giant death balls.
Sure.
That he can run because he goes in a closet.
Sure.
Independence Day was a wacky time.
Also, I really love that there are gators that can just smash through glass and shit, but for some reason that shower door...
No, man.
Yeah.
That's a lazy gator. That's Gary.
Did you like
Gary the lazy gator? Oh, fuck, I don't wanna.
Gary the lazy gator.
Fucking Gary.
You get there on time, he'll be there later. But,
all right, that was good. Okay. That was good. I'm gonna.
So, also another thing, she couldn't have done that jump with how injured she was. Her arm was fucked up because the gator literally like tried to eat it. It was chewing on her. It didn't even bite her. It was chewing on her as he shot into it. Which, sure. And then her leg was also chewed the fuck up. You're telling me that she can do like a jump off of a couple things and woo over the edge of the fucking top of a shower door, and it's just with all these this movie, man.
Hold on, you get mad about that, and yet in Stuber, there's a man that gets hit like with a gigantic portable safe, clear to the head.
Yeah.
Gets a fucking dinner tray thrown on him, falls down 2 stories, and gets shot.
You're telling me that Stuber takes itself more seriously with realisticness than this movie?
I'm just saying, like, if you're okay with that, but this is too much.
Yeah, because that was a stupid action movie fight scene.
but a safety
that comes with
See,
the
that's where I was drawing
territory.
the line with me.
That comes with the territory. Whereas in a movie like this, one of the things about a movie where your main characters get injured and stuff is watching them be less capable of escaping as they go on. So the conditions get more desperate. It heightens the tension. It's supposed to. But in this movie, it doesn't. It's meaningless. Whereas in a stupid fucking comedy movie with some action scenes, like, fine. And side note, I was just really excited to see that actor again because that's the main guy from The Raid, and The Raid is one of the greatest fucking action movies ever made.
Oh, I have seen The Raid.
Yeah. Have you seen The Raid 2?
I have not.
Oh my god, it's even better.
I've heard.
There is an action scene in that which is a car chase with motorcycles where the people within the cars are shooting at the people in other cars, and there's also a fist fight going on inside one of the cars, which also turns into a gunfight. So like, there is so much going on at once, and it's one of the coolest fucking things I've ever seen. And that's just one of the scenes. It's one of the best scenes, but it has a great plot. That, like, yeah, I was just really happy to see a dude. That dude knows how to really fight. Which is the main reason I was excited to see him in there was that for me, seeing that guy, I know the people who don't know who he is are like, okay, whatever, but that is a dude who legit can throw Dave Bautista. Like, if Dave Bautista was throwing a punch at that guy, that is one guy who actually knows how to, in real life, take that punch and transfer that into a throw. So those fights you were seeing in there were real fights outside of the actual, like, you know, hitting him with a safe and shit. And also, seeing him dropping between floors, that wasn't CG. That was a real fucking stunt.
I believe it.
And I appreciated the shit out of that.
Fair enough.
So, like, you know, Stuber Part 2 review. So, Stuber, I had a good enough time. I addressed the things within it that were kind of, you know...
problematic.
Yes, there were problematic elements. And I also see the joking between the two of them as being that, you know, like, that ribbing, like, yeah, see, it's not that bad. But I also appreciate the fact that it kind of it acknowledges that both perspectives are toxic and kind of takes elements from the other ones to help each one get a little better.
I think that's the intention, but I don't think that's how it's actually executed.
I feel like the execution pulls it off well enough.
I think
I saw it with a woman and she was fine with it.
Again, it's
She represents all of womanhood, therefore your opinion is invalid.
okay, Twitter.
I'm just saying. As far as movies like that go that implement like very, very strong masculine stereotypes and shit, it definitely acknowledges the fact that these lead to shortcomings.
I think it to me, I feel like it pretended that that's what it was doing, but I don't think I was actually supported by the narrative and what was actually happening in the movie.
It was clumsily done, but I feel like at least the intent was still there. It wasn't there to actually glorify those things, is what I'm saying.
But I feel like it kind of does, maybe not intentionally, but with through what it is anyway. Because like most of the butt of the jokes with anything that goes on is the fact that someone's being emasculated at some point. That's like a majority of the punchlines and most of the jokes throughout the entire movie.
It's more the fact that he gets abused a lot. He gets picked on by everybody around him, whether it's his Uber drivers being racist, Uber passengers being racist towards him, whether it's the fact that he's basically friend-zoned himself with this lady.
Well, like, here's just a couple of easy examples.
It's not her fault. It's not her fault. He's done it to himself. He hasn't spoken up about his feelings. He hasn't been honest.
And that's the one part I liked.
Deceptive.
That's one part I liked.
And he owned up to it, and I appreciated that.
No, like, that scene I liked. I will give that credit. But, like, just here's a couple of easy examples off the top of my head. Like, when they're interrogating, like, the gang member, for example. And it said, like, now we're going to do psychological stuff. And he, like, here's your Twitter account. I like Ryan Gosling. Which is like, okay, kind of a funny joke. But that being said, the joke is basically that he's being emasculated because he doesn't, like...
Here's my take on that. I loved that joke, not because the butt of the joke is emasculation. The butt of the joke is his fragile masculinity.
There is that argument to be made.
The fact that it's not the fact that these are things to be ashamed of, it's the fact that he's the kind of person who cares that much about it, that having the shit beat out of him in a standard way is not going to work. Like, he can be subjected to all the shit that he feels more masculine about because he's withstanding physical torture.
Okay.
But don't you dare say I love The Notebook and La La Land. And,
okay, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
I found that really good because, honestly, that's kind of a trolling tactic I used to take towards conservatives. Where it's not that the things I was saying to them were things that bothered me. It's that I knew that they were things that bothered them.
That's a valid argument.
Anytime someone online tells me to suck a dick or eat a cock, I just go like, what tells you I'm not? Or I make a little kissy face and I'm like, nothing wrong with sucking a dick. Like, I just do what I know will just put them off. And half the time they just stop responding to me at that point. They just don't know what to do. So, it's that kind of humor. And I can understand that.
That's fair.
And it takes pot shots at Kumail Nanjiani's, indecisiveness and lack of fortitude, so to speak. And it also takes shots at Dave Bautista's complete meatheadedness.
But like, here's the thing, I don't think it leaned far enough into that. Like, it doesn't really actually critique a lot of his behavior. Like, the two biggest critiques they have for him is that his father was abusive, and that
he sees it as a good thing,
and he's a bad father. But the problem is, like, it doesn't really critique his behavior beyond that, though. Like, not really. And that's kind of my issue.
I feel like they're more emblematic.
Yeah, but that being said, they also address Stu's behavior a lot more directly. So I feel like...
do they?
I feel like they do. Because, again, that's the butt of the joke most of the time, but you're supposed to, like, Dave Bautista is the badass. Like, what he does isn't really the joke. It's...
But the scene in the sporting goods store.
But again, it's kind of immediately undone the following scenes.
How so?
Well, like movie glory, like when Stu finally does become like the badass kind of character, then the movie kind of goes like, yeah, you're a badass now. Look how cool you are doing all these cool action movie things. That makes you cool. You're not a pussy anymore. And that's kind of
not so much. He runs over the lady, and he's immediately like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," which is hilarious.
But Dave Bautista going like, "You're scaring me, Stu, and I love it," and like stuff like that, and like. I like those actors. I think they're good actors, and I like seeing them together. So like, I don't blame them. I think for me, I think what they're going for is a bit inconsistent.
My main point with the scene, specifically the sporting goods store scene, is that it's the fact that Dave Bautista's character just straight up comes out and calls him a pussy and tells him like, you can't stand up to me. Fuck you. You're weak. And Kumail is just like, are you fucking kidding me? I've been the one helping you this whole time. You can't even fucking see. And it has a fight scene which is weirdly plausible.
Yeah.
Considering the size difference between the characters, I was surprised with how, at no point in that fight I was like, oh, Kumail wouldn't be able to do that to Dave. Like, no, everything he does against him through that fight is somewhat plausible.
Yeah.
And throughout the whole thing, they're talking about the whole fact where he talks about how men being sensitive is not a weakness, and it's okay to show your feelings and stuff. And then you have both of these dudes confronting the complete shitbag kind of archetype, who embodies the true shitty version of both of their archetypes, where he has no backbone, he doesn't know how to stand up for himself, he just picks on people and bullies people because it's like this false thing for him to hide behind, and he's kind of just a gross piece of shit.
There is that to be said.
And both of them are kind of just like, yeah, fuck you, man. Well, I feel like there was enough in there I'm not saying it was very well done, but I feel like there was enough in there for it not to be as much of a problem.
I can see where you're coming from. That's a fair perspective. I think, well, here's a couple like other scenes I can think off the top of my head that I think also like intention versus execution kind of argument.
Sure.
Like when they finally Stu has the big speech or the end. I guess I'll just add a little thing in the title card that says plus Stuber Part 2 review.
Stuber Part Tuber?
Oh, fuck you. Well, like for example, when Stu says like it's okay to ask for help, it's okay to like call for backup.
Oh yeah,
and the
I
very
in your
like,
review.
5 seconds later, it is like, oh, the first person he happens to call is the bad guy. So it really like the intention is there to send a good message. That what they actually say is, if you dare call for backup, you're gonna call the bad people.
I feel like that's a wrong interpretation of it, because the fact that she was the betrayer is just kind of incidental to the plot. I don't think it's meant to show that asking for help is a bad thing.
No,
necessarily.
And that's why I said it's not what they meant to do. It's what they did unintentionally, in my view.
See, I disagree with that though. I don't think that it's what they actually did. I think it was this whole thing where, he was sabotaged by a person that he trusted, sure, But later on, when it comes to asking people for help, they have no problem asking people for help. It's when whether they're asking the other people in the Sriracha van.
But didn't Stu basically do that?
Yes.
So again, doesn't that really mean that Dave Bautista hasn't really learned anything up to that point? So doesn't that kind of still contradict the main message? Stu has no problem doing that. He clearly has no problem doing that.
I feel like there was enough evidence throughout it for both sides to show that no philosophy is universally applicable. And it plays with that humor. Both characters are wrong. In terms of core personality traits, both characters have things that the other character can learn from, and both of them have things that are very wrong in what they're trying to teach the other person. And there are conditions that define whether some of these things are the right action in certain situations and not. And I think the main point is just that life is complicated, and don't be a dick, and kind of stand up for yourself as well, and communicate your feelings, and don't just, use women as props in your plot.
Well, there is that too.
Yeah,
it was that was like that. I completely agree with.
Yeah, it's well, I do like that they gave Batista's daughter a somewhat bigger role.
I thought Dave Bautista's daughter was okay.
She was okay. I also like that actress.
Every other woman, on the other hand.
Yeah, they just represent something else within the main character's plot, which, it's a movie about these two guys.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to assess every movie by whether or not it's inclusive of everybody. I think if the movie, because it is, by nature of what we've been talking about this whole time, the whole movie is about masculinity.
Yeah.
The whole movie is a very masculine movie. It's focused on these two men and what things mean to them. I think putting a little extra focus into other elements and trying to widen the cast and, I don't think it really fits as much.
Yeah,
so not every movie needs to be all of that.
No, that being said, I do think it's a valid criticism if you really want to go that route.
It is a valid criticism.
I don't think it's enough to really judge the movie harshly on that merit, but I do recognize, okay, that's if that bothers you, I get why.
Yeah.
But I guess that's not really a thought that occurred to me while I was watching it. I think I probably would have mentioned it sooner. So it's not that embolic of a problem in the movie.
Yeah.
For me, my biggest problem.
Emblematic?
Emblematic, thank
Symbolic?
you. I think I
missed those two.
I made an amalgamation.
Okay. Embolic amalgamation. That's a twister. Okay. But yeah, anyway.
But I don't think it's representative of the plot overall. It's just that my main issue is the fact I don't think the narrative theme it came across as clearly as they wanted, and I think it I don't want to say damage anything, but I think it does show favoritism towards one side over the other.
I
in a way that I don't really like.
Think so.
And that's where we might.
That's definitely an opinion, and that might also fall into how we perceive that kind of humor.
Yeah.
I'm definitely more okay with that kind of humor on a certain level, especially because I feel like it gave to Bautista as good as he He got as good as he gave.
I mean, as far as comedies like this, is definitely one of the better ones I've seen.
As far as a buddy cop comedy goes, or
because nothing's gonna be bad as Chips, whatever the fucking movie was.
No, I remember. There's some Ralph the Movie Maker does a really good.
The movie is awful.
Yeah, and watch him suffer over it. It's he's so upset.
I think I made Matt watch that one too. Now I think about it.
Yeah, but yeah. So this definitely tackles masculinity better than that movie does.
And yet it still tries to do the same thing, oddly enough.
Does it though?
In an awful way. A lot of the humor still does come from, this is gay.
Yeah, no, a lot more of it is... See, but that was more outright homophobia kind of stuff.
Fuck yeah, it was.
This is more what means to be a man. And, yeah, definitely a thing. But yeah, I enjoyed Stuber enough. It wasn't,
and I liked Crawl well enough.
It wasn't that bad, and I had a good enough time. I laughed enough throughout the movie. I laughed.
Didn't laugh much.
I laughed more in that movie than I did in Crawl.
See, I laughed more in Crawl than I did in Stuber. So.
And there you go. That's your hot take on our Crawl Stuber review.
This weird amalgamation. Yeah.
This has been Mahan and Michael with Kruber, Stall, the bathroom horror movie.
Oh God.
When you're out of toilet paper and someone comes in next to you and you don't know what they ate.
No,
it's dangerous.
it's like a sequel to Tire, where just a porta potty randomly shows up like in front of
Tire?
You didn't know the movie?
Rubber.
Rubber. That's
Rubber is great. Rubber is a great movie.
Of course you would like Rubber.
Rubber. Okay, first time you watch Rubber, what the shit is this? But if you watch it a second time and you just know what's going to happen, like the whole anticipation of a first time of watching a movie, of not knowing what's going to happen and being satisfied or whether or not like what you think was going to happen happens, is, you know, okay. That's its own impression. But the second time you watch it is when I feel like the real merit of a movie comes out, because it needs to be able to stand up to repeat viewings.
Yeah.
And you know, without the element of surprise even. And I feel like a good tense scene is still tense if you watch it again. Which has been true for a lot of really good, scary, tense movies I've watched. Even with American Horror Story, I've had times when, you know, rewatching it, I've had moments of tension knowing what's going to happen. But
I never got past the first season.
Oh, you just see that? We'll talk about that later. There's 8 seasons now.
Jesus Christ.
Basically 8 movies to review.
No, thank you.
But
Is it really 8 now?
they're working on 9. 9 is this year.
Fucking Jesus.
But yeah, I think that Rubber holds up to repeat viewings because it's just such a weird movie.
I mean, I'm just saying, just do that same kind of concept, just make it about a porta potty and just call it like Shit Out of Luck or something.
But it can't move.
But not when you look at it.
Is it just gonna like lift up an inch off the ground and tiny legs underneath it carry it like?
No, just make it like do like
someone opens the motel door. Honey, wasn't that porta potty like 10 feet farther yesterday?
It's like, no, like do like Weeping Angel rules. Like it can only move when you're not looking at it. So you like blink.
Tagline.
Yeah.
Don't take any shit.
Don't lose your shit. I think it's probably
Don't lose your shit. It sucks people's poop out, and initially it feels like a great idea, but then it sucks their guts out and it's hungry for more.
This town needs an enema.
Enema of the state. Oh wait, no, that's a Blink-182 album. We can't do that.
Oh damn it! Copyright, son of a bitch.
Anyway, I think we're done.
Yeah, I think so too.
We're at a fake enema toilet stall movie horror concept. So, wait, it wouldn't be a porta potty because it's not a stall in a bathroom.
Well, it can be.
It needs to be in a bathroom. It's a bathroom stall. If it's not in a bathroom, it's not a stall. It's its own miniature bathroom.
I mean, you can justify porta potty moving around more than you can an actual bathroom stall, though.
Yes, you can. It's a haunted stall. It has certain things that show it as being. Maybe it's something that starts infecting different bathroom stalls outside around America.
Fine, we'll go Stephen King around. Make it about shit weasels.
Or the devil.
Or the devil. Or both.
Or both. The shit devils or the devil all along.
Shit weasels. Devil shit weasels. His first horseman of the apocalypse.
Shit weasel demon. Okay, we've gone for too far. It's done.
That's an actual Stephen King movie, by the way. Shit weasels.
What?
That's an actual thing.
No.
I am dead serious. I forget the name of the movie, but they do. It has Morgan Freeman. He literally turns to one of his FBI people and goes, "So what about the shit weasels?" This happens.
I have to see this.
This is a real movie.
See, that's the kind of stupid horror movie I can get behind.
Dude, let me know when you watch it, because I would totally join you for that.
Let's watch it together.
I'm down.
Yeah. All right.
Because it possesses somebody, and he just suddenly starts talking.
Don't. Spoilers. Let's this. I want every element of surprise to be retained. This will be great.
Okay.
So
that's all we got. So thank you guys for watching. See you next week for Lion King.
Oh, no.
Yeah.